open.
Damn.
Okay. What else do we have in here?
Joanne,
Mass Unifin. Cookie law.
where do you want us to sign these?
We don't have payroll again. It's the same problem.
Christopher, we're just looking at the warrant.
They just belong in that
Sure.
folder. But the
Okay.
payroll sheets are not there for you to sign. You're gonna be signing a few of them at a time, at once. Once they get it straightened out with software.
Okay,
People are getting paid, but the paperwork's just not there.
you get that?
Yes, so we're not signing anything tonight.
Not that one.
Not in payroll. The
Okay.
rest of it you are signing, yes.
Everything else we
Maybe
gotta
for
sign.
water and
Got it. Let's see. Do we-
Copies of cereal.
Oh, look at the salt. That's a lot of money in salt. Dang,
he's crying.
22,000.
Yeah, I'd hate to see the next one.
What was it?
Cost of salt.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Right?
Sorry, I don't have any notes.
Yeah.
I think this week I should be starting to slow down a little bit.
But they had the right wheels on. Oh, horses were pulling it through the snow. Oh.
Mostly because I didn't do it yet.
Yep. We're being recorded a couple times. All right,
You go.
it's for you.
Oh my God.
Right, it's a doozy. There you go. All right, so let's grab my agenda. So we do not have meeting minutes to look at tonight. That's okay. We'll look at those. So I would make a motion to table the examination of meeting minutes
Second it.
until next week. Any discussion?
There's two of them, so both of them, 220
Yes,
and 37.
Yes, please. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. That's for you. All right, we have audience participation, public comment. Anyone?
I have you listed under new business. Okay.
Department reports. Dave, you want to come on up?
There as well. You're listed here as well.
Okay.
Report for you.
Welcome, Dave.
Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the weather. It's gonna be for a little while.
It's gotta carry us through the parade on Sunday.
It's supposed to rain.
Stop it. Right now.
Yes.
All right.
I've had a quote for an overlay for Cook Road
Okay,
of $102,000.
okay. Is that what you were expecting?
No, not really.
Is it over or under what you were expecting?
It all depends on how the North Blandford Road goes.
Okay.
If this company gets part of the bid, it should reduce it a
Okay,
lot.
so it might be.
Yeah, they got all their equipment up here. We don't have to pay to have it moved twice.
That's right.
What road is that, Dave?
Crooks.
Crooks.
It seems to be that Gore Road looks done. Has anybody been down it besides Bob?
Yeah, they were out today picking up the big.
Were they?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, no, I'll have to take a ride down there. I haven't been.
You never,
What was that again?
Gore Road,
Gore Road.
Gore Road, yes.
Dave, did you see the hole I was talking about?
Yeah.
What about Gore Road? The town hall?
The
Oh,
tree
it's not-
is well done.
Oh,
And it's unbelievable. That it's really, really nice.
Which road?
Gore Road.
Gore Road,
Gore Road, okay.
yeah.
Geez, we get out early enough, we can drive down on daylight.
Mhm. Christopher, have you done a tour of the roads yet? with-
No, I haven't yet. Dave extended an offer, so at some point I'll have to do that. Now it's like you said, it's light out later, so could be soon.
Perfect. And you'll start to remember what they are
Yeah.
when we talk about them eventually.
Ditch work's been being worked on Beach Hill Road
Okay,
up by the town line up
Mhm.
through there. Had 2 culverts replaced also. It's gonna need to be probably another 2 to 3 more done up there.
okay,
One was replaced over on Nybrook. Another one's gonna be replaced, probably, can't say tomorrow, probably Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
That will be replaced over there.
I know Nybrook, you were saying was a big issue because of the cave in and,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that working out?
Yes, I got a couple of dictates about it.
Okay,
Can you hear us, Larry?
yes, you can hear us, right, Christopher? Yes,
Okay. I talked to Gates about it. I got a paperwork from him, from DEP,
okay,
about that one big pipe right there. That's a lot of water running through. And once that's all done with, there's like a couple more up will be replaced also.
okay,
This week coming up, the last couple of days, we've had the army, one of our old army trucks with sander in it in the shop. It's finally back together. It's running, no issues, except for the sander. But we won't need that, but the repair it now.
hopefully, yeah, okay,
We do have, we are short of 1 truck. It's at Mac right now. And they're gonna call Mac corporate and start a case on the problem of the truck. They don't know what it is.
this is the one with warranty, I know I ask you this every time,
Yes,
The warranty one, is that what you
yep,
yeah,
yes.
Can
What do you call that truck?
municipalities invoke the lemon law?
I don't know,
I
I don't see why not.
Find out, that truck,
It is. It's
Yeah, still under warranty.
It's under warranty.
yeah, but invoke the lemon law. If you lose it for so long, they're gonna give you another one.
yeah. How long have we had it now, Dave?
We've had it since 19,
Okay,
so. I'm in a discussion with them about tow charges. I told them I'm not paying for tow charges.
yeah,
I'll give him a call right tomorrow on that.
well, if we start to think that it's gonna be something that needs to be replaced because they can't figure out what's wrong with it, we can reach out to attorneys and have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Lisa?
No, that it will be Copeland and Page.
Okay.
It's not Mead. Mead just works with us for Springfield Water because
Okay.
Springfield Water also has
Okay.
Copeland, so.
Okay, good to know. Weather we had this weekend, very unpredictable for sure.
Yeah,
The 13 hours on Saturday and another 5 hours on Sunday. But we say though, the roads look a little bit compared to other roads in other towns. So,
Mission accomplished.
yes, exactly. This will let you know, as you know, by going to the gas station, the prices are going up. The prices will be probably going up next year or this fiscal year coming up for salt and all that stuff.
wow, okay,
So, I mean, right now, look, when Randy was here, we were paying $48 a ton for salt. For the bid, we got for 61, for another company was 71. And fine.
jeez,
I had to stop using the one for 61 because we were not delivering the product in a timely manner.
okay,
So I went to one for 71. And I called him yesterday, I got 2 loads already.
okay. So you'll have to build that into the budget then for next year,
Yes.
that increase.
So that-
You did, okay.
Yeah, I think in line with that, it's gonna be tough for Dave and for the fire department to level fund because of the price of fuel.
All departments and
No.
Doesn't matter
utilities.
what we're buying, it's the price is going up crazy,
Yeah, so,
including
So-
living costs.
As long as they're level funding for the amount, right? You know what I mean? Like, so they typically buy so many tons, he's gonna buy the same amount, but clearly
yeah,
the
by the
price will
same
go.
tonnage, but you're just gonna have to pay the inflated price.
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah. Utilities is probably gonna go way up too.
Utilities, fuel,
Yeah,
heating oil.
Yep.
Yeah,
Just paid $5.29 for heating oil,
Wow.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Just the other day.
and I'm working with Chris on the bid for diesel, gas, and for heating oil.
For next year.
Yes.
Okay.
As of right now, the town heating oil from November of 20 to June of 21, gone through 7,800 gallons of fuel.
Wow.
So
Is that how much above average? Do you have an
I have
idea?
no idea.
Yeah.
This is my first time.
Okay.
To me, it seems like a lot,
Yeah.
but this is probably one of the bigger ones that takes a lot of fuel.
Mhm.
Maybe we can get some grants to reduce it somehow, you know?
Yeah.
Don't plow snow.
Well, we've definitely
And
looked at
give him Tommy's number.
Okay.
the green community stuff as far as help with, I think we did something last year, didn't we, with green community with the boilers?
Yeah, that was,
So we did see some reduction this year, I thought.
yeah, I think that's when they put the boilers on a computer
Yes.
system.
Okay.
It's still not perfect. I have to let for Christopher get his feet on the ground, and we need to make an appointment because it's on his computer. It can be adjusted on his computer, but we weren't told how to use it, and neither was John Hoppy. John needs to have it on his phone as well, so
So he has access to heating on his computer, the
he's
system?
supposed to.
Okay,
He doesn't, so.
but we can't, okay.
But we're working on that.
So someone will come down hopefully and train us.
I don't want to put everything on his desk at once.
Appreciate it, Joanne. Thanks.
This week will most likely be out on North Blandford Road, cleaning up the edges and getting it ready
Okay.
for the summer.
Have we heard anything from the water department in terms of a project they needed to get done?
No, he said he's all done,
Okay,
so I'll buy a half a dozen or so risers for the ones that are there,
mm-hmm,
and it'll be it.
okay.
Unless the water line blows and we're really in trouble, which I hope we don't.
No.
That shouldn't, Dave. It's ductile iron. And it's relatively new.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Well, if it was the plastic, I'd say, yeah, there was a shot that we could lose a section of it, but the ductile iron seems to stay together pretty good.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Any questions?
I don't think so. I might have a question for you on the Canada thing, but it might just be, I think I have one question for you on here. But it's also kind of a police question, but we'll get to that in a minute. For the Canada, the home, what's it? Not home, the host community agreement.
Oh,
I have a question for you. Do you guys have anything
No,
for Dave? Christopher,
I
do you have
talked
anything
with-
for Dave?
I talked with Dave and us, so. I know
You're
what
good.
he's doing, so.
Okay,
TJ's been better at
Oh, geez.
it.
Board of Health, Jennifer. come
Thanks,
on down.
Dave.
Yep.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
I'll stay.
Oh, good. I just get it.
I'm gonna take that. So first I want to dive into the wellness chat.
Okay,
I spoke, and I think you guys were CC'd, I think Chris was, I think you were CC'd from council.
Mhm.
So after, and then we had a phone conversation, so he thinks, or he said definitely that the position would be hired, not a contract or
Okay.
anything like that. He said
Okay.
definitely go that way.
What's the position, Joe? I'm sorry.
It's a wellness chat.
Wellness, I got it. I'm on okay.
So, right. So we would like to start getting this out and putting this out, and getting the ball rolling with this.
Okay.
You have the description and.
yes. Do we have it? I don't think I have it in front of me, but, oh wait, this is what you gave me. Sorry, I apologize. Now, Did you already tell us how this overlaps with the COA wellness check?
So, first of all, COA only takes care of the elders.
Okay,
We, as a Board of Health, take care of everybody in town.
yep,
So the example that I could give you is, say, there's a family in town and someone was just diagnosed with diabetes, whether it be a child or something, they're not, and the parents aren't sure, or, you know, even if it's an adult and they're not sure, it doesn't have to be a senior, it doesn't have to be a child, and they're just not quite sure on how to do it, how to read, they want more information. they want-
sure,
We have somebody now available that's
Okay.
going to. This isn't somebody that's getting a stipend and that, you know, they're only gonna get paid for when they go out and do, and their services are
So
only
it's an
gonna be
hourly,
by
okay.
request through the Board of Health.
okay,
So it's gonna be very monitored. It's not a, we're knocking on your door and saying, hey, you want a wellness, you know, it's not like that. Or if you hear, you know, or if we get a phone call and I can go back to like the incident that happened, you know, this past summer. You know, I can send somebody right over.
okay.
So we have somebody.
So ideally, would it be someone local? Is that something?
I'm
in-
hoping so, yes. We do
Okay.
have somebody in mind, but I know legally we have to put it in the paper.
Put it, yeah.
So. we just-
Can you put it in the, I don't know if you can put in the job description that the resident, that the person should be local. I feel like I know when you
I
do an
don't think you
interview,
can.
you can't ask where someone,
I think we should
lives.
just let it go because.
just let it be. Okay.
Yeah.
Mary, did you have?
I was just gonna say, you can say preference will be given to an area resident.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Okay,
But,
okay,
and we just want to make sure that it's okay that, you know, we start the procedures and.
okay. And so you have a separate line item for this for next year?
So once we get our meeting with the finance.
Yep.
I want to find out what happened to that line item.
Okay,
For right now, say this process takes, and we get somebody that can start working and doing this by the end of March, the first part of April.
mhm,
In our own budget, we have already said, okay, let's set aside this, because, you know, I don't see it to be a huge, it's just something we feel necessary to be able to offer to the residents.
okay, great. So you will do the Board of Health will run the interviews and do
We'll
the
run
screenings
interviews,
and the
we'll
hiring.
appoint them like we do the burial agent. If
Okay.
that's
Mhm.
workable with you, if that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that's how they, I'm just trying to think back to water department but they're different because they are a, what's the word I'm looking for with the account? Thank you. But as elected officials, I believe, I don't know if the last appointment has to come actually from the select board or not. I guess we should just double check. You don't think so?
When we do the burial agent, it comes. from
And you
us.
pay them out of your line items.
Yeah, if they're gonna do it
Yes.
that way, that person's gonna be an employee of the Board of Health, not the Board of Selectmen.
Okay,
Like the transfer station.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. okay,
For that, so, and then just going right back into that, I want to just go, we did have a joint meeting with the COA because I know that there
Mhm.
was a, I think they felt there was a conflict of interest there. So
Okay.
we did have a nice meeting and we did explain, our board explained that, you know, that us as the Board of Health oversee everybody in town, and, you know, we're not trying to step on the seniors. However, if the senior calls us, we certainly are gonna help them.
okay,
I don't wanna be rude, but we don't have to have their permission to do so.
mhm,
I would certainly reach out to Margaret and let her know that
Okay.
this is happening. So we did have a good meeting, because I think at the end, we decided that we should attend each other's meetings.
okay,
So, once a month, I don't know how often I think it's only once a month.
Once a month.
Right, we meet twice a month, so
First
once a
Monday.
month, they should come,
and vice
Talk
versa,
and-
okay,
you know, she should come to our meeting and I'll go to their meeting, just so that the communication's there, because we do overlap in some stuff. So, Yeah, so because we do overlap, I think it'd be beneficial. if
Yeah,
we-
absolutely.
if we can help one another.
Mhm.
Jennifer, I got a quick question for you. Sometimes when we're out, and you know, because we have contacted you before, but we find people that somebody should be looking in on. Should we still report that to you to put it in motion?
Yeah, we can always reach out to them. And, and it's entirely up to them.
Yeah, I
You
realize
know,
that, but
because it's, we can't just say, oh, well, you need,
Yeah,
we're not acting as their physician or their whatever, but we can certainly reach out and say, hey. would you like
because we had an
something?"
incident. The chief of police helped us out and convinced the lady that she should go into a program, and she's doing very well with it now. So hopefully, if we keep our communications open, we can, with you, we can do more of this kind of work.
Yes, I'd like to see that everybody's taken care of.
Now, like say, police chief, fire chief gives you a name. You call them, and then if they need help, they give you permission to help them, or is that
Yes.
how it works?
Yep, they would have to give us permission,
No,
and we'll
okay,
have, our wellness check, or even the nurse, depending on what it is, because we also have a nurse coming on.
Mhm.
So depending on the extent of the care, would, we would send them out and we'd ask them, and they'd have to sign off that, yes, we're allowing you to come in.
okay.
I mean, we have to,
You have the forms.
yes, we have to protect, we're in the process of making them up
Mhm.
and then pass those through.
We had a call for you the other night. We had an older gentleman roll over in bed and landed on his
oh, poor
metal
guy.
art bracelet.
Oh,
And he woke up with the lights of a fire truck.
Oh.
And he said, God, I don't know what you're doing here, but I'm glad to see you.
Poor guy.
So just, Jennifer, please, just to make the pathways clear, if it ends up being something that is more COA market related, then you'll communicate with her, right? I mean, if it's medical, if it's more serious kind of stuff, but like.
If it's like
some of the,
food or,
Seniors in town don't want to be bothered by anything, so if it becomes something that is, you see that is more like COA and not really something you're gonna do,
if it's
then you'll
medical,
communicate with Margaret.
if
That's
it's
all I'm
medical
asking.
or a
But
health
she's gonna ask
issue,
that.
right, if it's medical or a health issue, that's really not Margaret's.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant if you find that it's just a base. I'm trying to just keep Margaret in the loop here, that's all.
yeah,
Well, there's a bit of a confidentiality thing as well.
Okay, but you know what the confidentiality is, so I'm not asking you to share that with her.
So I guess
What
I'm
am I
not
asking? Help me
understanding.
with
like if you were noticing that there was like need for like food,
Oh,
like a
yes.
connection with like food or
Yes,
transportation or
yes.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Yep, or if they
Just
needed
me, that's all I'm asking.
transportation, or
I
if
just
they
want
needed a
that on the
doctor.
record, that is your intention and.
Oh, absolutely.
Or
And I
even
hope
if-
it would be hers as well.
Yes.
Even if the person notes that they might, want to join, some of the events or something, then just make a
Yes.
connection and
Yep,
give them some
and I think that's all
socializing.
part of us doing the joint meeting together.
Yeah.
So,
Perfect. Okay.
but I think part of the thing is that the residents in town kind of shy back because it is a small town and everybody loves to chat and everybody loves to talk. And I think people don't want you there or in their life or in their home because they're afraid
Mhm.
of that. And we don't want that. So we really want to be mindful of
I think it looks good. I just found one thing at the bottom that I circled. Slide. Other thing, it was just a spelling, but it looks
Nice
great.
girl.
Did you like that?
Yeah, you should play baseball.
I'm actually very good at softball.
yes, Miss Teacher. She's great at
What's next on your list for us?
This week I went and took my test for emergency management. That was a really tough one. So I
Oh,
passed
fun.
it, but I got my certificate.
Congratulations.
And, yep, and then, it was a tough one. And let's see, we submitted our site plan, that was due in March. I did that with the help of Chris Gosha. I'm not sure if you know who he is, TJ, from the Pioneer Valley.
What does a site plan mean?
So a site plan is when we do things like the clinic that we just did for the COVID vaccines, or when we do a flu clinic. We have to fill out these forms and these papers, and they're supposed to get submitted, and it's kind of just a site of, you know, did it go on time? It's like a learning lesson type thing. And why it's important, I'm really not quite sure how that is.
But the paperwork is
Makes the
important.
world go on.
So we did that. And we're now working on our public health preparedness plan. And Chris is walking me through that as well.
Okay.
Now, we also got next, I'll move right along, scanner. Our scanner's in, and the IT people hooked up with me today and they did the backup on it. So our intent with the scanner is we're scanning in all our septic
Great.
plans, and
Everything will be available online.
and things will be available.
That is
online, so when the
exciting.
banks, when they call-
2022.
Yes, when the banks call and, you know.
You can
all
just
these
email.
people Call, it's like, it's right there. It's not gonna be under name, it's gonna be under address.
Okay,
So.
Great.
We're working on that. That'll take a little while to get done.
sure, of course, yeah.
But we're working on it. So I think I text you, we got 900 test kits.
Great, that's a lot. Yes,
So-
you did. That's a
Oh,
lot of test
finally.
kits.
Oh my gosh, finally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was able to fit 16 cases. I gotta go back for 4 more in my car. Couldn't fit any more.
Is this a grant or just through the government?
This is through the government. It's not through a grant. And so it didn't cost us anything. So it's great. So we have those. We, on March 26th, we're going to do a thing where they come, when you come to the transfer station, we'll pass them out.
Okay,
And then I'm gonna give the library some. After the 26th, the library will get some because we wanna make sure that we do this drive first.
okay,
I did give Margaret 10 test kits and 30 masks the other day on Friday when they came in. So
okay,
she has some in her room for anybody
okay.
that for those guys. See, we can work together.
Of course we can.
And that's it. That's all we're doing right now.
You guys are busy.
We are.
Thank
busy.
you. We appreciate it all. I can't believe how many COVID test kits are suddenly everywhere.
Because now they're not tracking them. It's not being.
They're just, I think I have like 20 at home. We couldn't find
and
them.
it's- They're available.
Yes, thank you.
Uh,
I have, yes, we can go to that. I also have a question for Dave on this one. Do you want to, while you're here, go to the Blandford store in Gerard? Do you want to go to that while you're here? We can skip to it.
Okay.
Can I have a motion?
Motion to skip to new business B, Blandford store and Gerard. Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Thank you.
is the coffee on?
What?
Is the coffee on?
That's, well, we're switching things up. There's the store
Uh-huh.
and then there's the restaurant. So they're two different,
Okay,
the store's the Blandford store and the restaurant's the Blandford Bistro. So-
Blandford Bistro, perfect.
Yes. So the bistro is looking into getting, if it's okay, a pouring license, a temporary pouring license.
Okay.
It'll just be for wine and malts. It's not for alcohol. I don't want to deal with that.
Okay.
Don't want a bartender, don't want any of that. And I can't pull that license because I already own a license.
Yeah, I was gonna
So-
ask how that works.
Right, so I figured my son.
Okay.
Come in and maybe pull a license for me,
Okay,
and start.
so
that
you can
process.
have, so here's my other question. Can you have a pouring license and a distribution license in the same building?
I'm asking for a temporary.
A temporary
I
pouring?
want a temporary. I
Okay.
want it for June to September. I don't want it all year.
Okay, So I guess that's an ABCC question for just that, if they'll allow a temporary, and we'll just have to reach out and see what
They
they,
will allow it temporary.
Okay.
But they only allow it for X amount of time.
okay. Oh, okay, so you can't do it
So I
every
can't-
summer.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then we'll, depending on how well it goes and how well it's received, if, you know, my neighbors around me say it's okay, so.
Okay.
um,
Okay, so just
It's
let us
okay
know.
by me, once the coffee's on.
Just so you know what you need to do to fill out for that license, and you'll run it through us, and we'll go from there, whatever you need.
He will. my son.
Your son will, I'm sorry,
Yes,
I
I-
apologize. Your son knows the process to, okay, perfect.
Yeah, he does. We're also working on an events calendar.
Mhm.
We're working on an events calendar, and it coincides with the,
The country club
thank you. Sorry.
and the library, you said you were working a little
And the
with
lot,
the,
yes,
yeah,
with Nicole with the ice cream social for
I
Monday.
think that's a great idea.
So if we get the pouring license, your moms can go have your wine and they can have their ice cream. Okay. So, anyways, we're putting together an events calendar. Is that events calendar something that we can put on the calendar at the town?
Yeah, you mean the
Yeah.
town website?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay to do
Mhm.
that? Okay, I wasn't sure. So, when I finish it, I'd like to get it,
Mm-hmm.
to get it up and obviously then I'll bring one here. to
We also
post.
put events on that Blandford, Mass, Friends and Neighbors. We just put stuff on there in the admin,
The Facebook, it's
on
not,
Facebook, sorry. It's on Facebook. It's called Blandford, Mass, Friends and Neighbors. And I put stuff for recreation. I've seen conservation put things up there.
Oh,
You just post it on that, become a member of the group, post it, and the admin will come in and check it and. let
There's
you know.
so many groups, it's kind of hard. I'll hook up with you
No,
later.
that's the one that's tightly regulated as far as, just for information
Not a-
purposes. Not
like-
not head bashing.
Like I could put something up there like cemetery needs customers, or I mean, help.
funny.
I'm not gonna guarantee, I'm not gonna.
That sounds
TJ.
great. Good stuff. Mary, question?
Volunteer is what I was trying to say.
The marquee, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't see a problem with putting stuff on the marquee. I think we've wanted to update it, but for
Right.
now it is what it is. I know we wanted to.
Yeah, just let
digital
us know when
digital-
you're, what you want up there,
Oh, okay.
because it does that. I hold the door, she does the work.
So I think we're doing bingo. the
I wish I had
second
thought of that to ask
month,
Ira.
Second Friday of every month,
Oh, that's fun.
with the golf course.
Oh,
so
cool.
That'll be fun, yeah.
Perfect.
Okay,
Thank you.
great, thank you.
Joanne, yes.
Can I add a report to the,
Sure.
the departmental updates?
Yes.
I stuck my nose in the green communities thing.
Yeah.
I worked with Jacinta. I pulled all the invoices. Did I already tell you this?
No?
I pulled all the invoices together, found out exactly what she wanted. She's happy with everything. We
Thank
tweaked it
you.
A little bit. I talked about when do we need it again, because I knew nothing about this. And she said July 2022, she wants the report to go back into her again for this fiscal year.
Okay.
And
And that's one of the things you're gonna give back to Christopher.
I don't really think I have to give it back. That's not what I have to give back. I'm
Okay.
gonna explain it to him. I collect the invoices.
Okay.
Because I scan the invoices to the accountants. So when I
Okay.
see a fuel invoice, I save it. And at
Okay.
the end, that's what I sent to Jacinta. The problem is other departments do the same, have the same kind of bills for fuel.
Yeah,
And they haven't been sending theirs forward. So I'm contacting them
for
and
copies.
telling them that they have to collect this information for green communities.
Okay.
So.
Could
It's
we just
not
get it through
something
the
that-
accountant? Would it be easier to just get it through her or him? No. We're
This
giggling.
started,
Just giggling.
because Josh laid that on them the first year we had green communities.
And they didn't
had
want
to fit because they had to dig. You know, just imagine.
But if they just do it going forward, then they don't have to
Yeah,
dig.
Okay, well, the agreement was made to put it back on us
Oh,
and have
okay.
us collect these invoices for the entire year. So that's what I've been doing for the last year and a
Okay.
half. That's why I knew what Mitchell was talking about when he started talking about it,
Okay,
because I have all that stuff.
okay.
Anyway, long story short, she's fine.
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna
goodness.
push out the
Okay,
departments to keep all of their fuel invoices for the end of the year, and we'll see how that works out. And it's not a lot of work for me, so it's not something I have to dump back on him,
okay.
so.
Is there a point where we should be applying for some sort of a grant through Green Community, or that's not, we're not ready for that yet?
This is just to maintain our green community.
Status. Okay,
That's all this is for,
okay.
and I know what she wants now, so.
Christopher, do you know anything about Green Community stuff?
Yeah, it just came up in my inbox today. Let me
Okay.
just check. I think something's due in late April, I want to say.
Okay,
And actually, tomorrow I've got, there's a webinar in the afternoon that I'm going to attend. So I should be getting a little bit more info on it then. So,
great.
yeah.
So just keep us posted if we need to come up with a project idea. I know, isn't it every year you can apply for more funding if you used all the funding? Is that how it works?
Yeah, in the fiscal year.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so we have up next the Canada Holdings Community Host Agreement. And we have a copy to go through. I did my homework last minute. I'm gonna skip ahead to one question so that Dave can leave. So the question I have for Dave was, hold on. Okay, on page 10, there's a discussion about traffic mitigation. So,
Nothing to do with it.
well, I reached out to ask the police department anyways. Do you think, Dave, in your opinion, do you foresee any, like concern with delivery trucks coming and going on that area?
Right across the front of our driveway, right through there all the time. No, I can foresee, North Blandford becoming a speedway.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the police chief about it, and she's more than willing to put an officer up there
Okay,
when it's all done. and over with.
That driveway down there, I still can't understand why the Department of Transportation gave a permit to put a driveway in that spot.
Yeah,
That's gonna be the worst place on Otis Road, put a driveway.
yeah, I talked to Mr. Gates about that today.
so in this agreement, in the host community agreement, it says that the company agrees to cooperate with the municipal officials on traffic management. Including but not limited to the police department. So we could add in there the highway department. Do you think that they should be working with you? Do you feel like that's necessary or?
You can if you like to. I have no problems with it.
Okay, and it just says to ensure, I mean, there's other things in here as far as like any road deterioration goes and like taking responsibility for that kind of stuff, so.
Now, most of this is gonna be on 23, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gonna be on a state road.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true, I wasn't even, okay, so we'll leave it to including but not limited to.
The only
Okay.
concern I have is the way that, and Tony's right, the way that the road comes out onto 23, there's gonna have to be, something.
There's gonna have to be some signs up and some flashing lights and all that stuff.
Yeah,
'Cause it's not a
absolutely.
question of if something's gonna happen,
Um,
it's when it's gonna happen.
That's it.
Did the DOT recommend anything?
The DOT issued the permit for the driveway cut.
Yeah,
And they didn't recommend any signs or?
No,
Okay.
they
No.
just tell you how to put your driveway in.
yeah.
Okay,
I mean, that's one of the worst places to put it right there.
Yep, coming right off of that corner.
How much frontage do they have there? Do you know? Do you know how much frontage they have there off of 23?
Quite a bit.
Yeah. So it wasn't they could actually have
They could've
changed
put
it a little bit.
further down that straightaway, yeah.
All right, thank you, Dave. That was the only question I have for you. All right, Christopher, I'm gonna back up and start in the beginning.
With Adam and Eve.
So I know that one of the comments had been about, one of the comments on the email had been about feeling like we needed to add anything else with zoning, and then there was a list. But I think that, I mean, if in the first paragraph, under recitals, it talks about approvals in accordance with zoning bylaws and local regulations. And I talked a little bit to Mike Hutchins, and he said that they have to file and get approved for a private, what did he say? Not a private, a special permit if they were building anything. And I think our zoning laws, as far as I can remember, our zoning and planning laws had regulated anything we would want to regulate. I don't really see a need to add anything. And then if you go through the community agreement, I mean, it talks about the odor situation. It talks about all those other things that were commented on. So I don't know why, I personally didn't see a need to add anything as far as that section. There was, I have an email I can pull up.
Did Mike recommend anything? that he
This was
concerned
coming
with?
from town council, which was Nicole. And so let me read to you what the original statement was. Okay. So the comment was that, did we want to add anything other site and specific provisions to be negotiated, design and review limitations on size and appearance of structure? I believe all those things are covered in zoning or planning, any issues that we would have with that. Lighting, odor mitigation, which is covered here in a separate section. The need for separate development agreements for landowner holding companies, which I believe is what we're doing here. Correct me if I'm wrong. Inspection, which is covered in here. They can't open without the building inspector approval. Hours of operation is covered in here, and then traffic control. Christopher, did you see those things in there, or were you thinking that those were things we needed to add?
You mean, was there something about odor control in this?
Yeah, I did see
document?
it in here. I guess my question was, I thought since she was emailing that those things might not be covered in the host community agreement, but they are covered in here. So I don't personally see any.
Well, that's all state
Need.
mandated.
Yeah. I did make a note on page 2 where she talks about the 3% zoom tight. This 3% that we have to document the impacts. And depending on the scope of operations, it could be a 1 to 3%. So the 3% she's saying it's the community impact fee, meaning that it's intended to reimburse municipalities for any impacts that the marijuana establishment has on us. So we need to be keeping track of where we're spending that reimbursement. So just as a note, I don't know if that's for the accountants and just for, everyone to know that we have to be starting to track that when it happens. Because the 3% we had originally looked at 3% of, I think were they guessing a $23 million? It was going to be a big chunk. So
I don't see here where it says select board gets free samples. Some of them. You can make
When
brownies.
you had a liquor license, we used to be able to receive a free bottle.
free sample.
That's right.
Okay, so the next spot I was looking was on page 4. We're looking for the amount that the annual community benefit payments. I believe in the past we've done $5,000, I think is what we did with the other host community. Does that sound familiar? And then it's looking for,
That's already been received for Canada.
yes, okay. And then down here, So there's the annual community benefit payment, and then there's the annual charitable nonprofit contribution. So we would have to, we can give them some ideas of nonprofits. And we would ask for what amount would be reasonable. I don't know what the amount is that's in there for the bell floor, but we would be putting an amount in here no less than to be donated to a nonprofit. So what do you guys think for that one?
I think that's a good idea. In
How
fact,
much do
that
we
is-
want to put in there? We'd ask for $5,000 to be donated to the community, to some sort of municipal.
Why not a 5,000 for the,
So we'll shoot for 5,000 in there.
yeah,
Okay.
what do you think, Tom?
Go again with that. I got here.
So we were looking for an amount. We were thinking $5,000 to be donated to nonprofit. from the
Yeah,
company.
that's all right. I think that's what we asked the other. on the
Yeah.
other one.
Next up, right below that, it's talking about the permit and connection fees for water. Do we know, has water department had a conversation? Do they know,
There's no water down there.
are they planning on connecting to water?
I doubt it because it would require a pipeline.
So that was my question, if it requires, because the pipeline does start down Otis stage, but it stops right at the top.
Yeah, but it's not very big.
No, it's not big, and so it would need an investment
They'd
to
have
reach
to
them.
start right where it tees off from the main line. They'd have to start there and
It would be a
it
fairly
would
big
have
cost
to be at
associated.
least an 8-inch main because the DEP says that's the smallest you can install now.
So it says here that the company anticipates making a purchase of water and sewer services. So we don't have sewer services.
No.
So we'll have to let
Bob
them know,
Clement's got a question back
take
there.
that out.
On
Yes,
the planning board, originally, they asked for a water line to come off North Blandford Road through the property to them.
oh, they did.
But then they canceled it, saying that the DEP allowed them to dig another well for the water.
So they're
and they
okay.
should have
Right.
enough.
Okay, thank you. So, Christopher, I guess I would just check and see if they think that they need that, or if that could be removed. So, D1. We could probably remove that if they don't need any water.
If we were to supply them with water, we would drain the reservoir in, I don't know, a couple of months.
I don't think, I don't think the kind of water they're gonna need. Right now, we can empty their clear water well in about an hour and a half if we have a fire. So they're gonna, it's always gonna be empty if they hook up to our water system.
Yeah, okay, so hopefully it's not needed.
Is it that it's not needed?
We can't provide it
I don't think the water department can provide that kind of water.
No,
unless they wanted to pay for
absolutely
an
not.
upgrade to our system. Okay, so number 4, the police officer training, Chief Wheelhouse said, yes, please leave that. We are very interested. Okay, and then the next section I made notes on was, okay, vehicle management. So Nicole made a note that some municipalities ask companies to register their vehicles in town so that we can gain some funding from the excise tax. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, as long
I
as they,
think-
if they rent vehicles, then we're out of luck, but if they own them, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't, hello, if you're looking for, are you looking for conservation?
Yeah.
Down, keep going down a little bit.
2 doors.
Hey, how are you?
Good, you guys, how you doing? Tom, nice to see you.
Good to see you. Mike
Michael
O'Brien.
Brown.
O'Brien from
Yeah,
Salumi
Michael
Construction.
Brown.
Okay, so I would say let's leave that because it would definitely be beneficial, and I don't see that it hurts at all.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing, especially if they're gonna hold for it.
Yeah, right. We'll take it. Bye, Dave. The next one I had a note for is on page 8. It's saying that If requested by the municipality, the company should provide us for review and approval, the name and relevant information. Hold on, I'm gonna skip all that legalese. For the person proposed to act as on-site manager. So basically it gives us the town. It gives the town authorization to perform a query check on a manager. I don't personally have any interest in being involved in that. But I don't know what you guys think.
Isn't that required by the state?
The submittal shall include authorization and all fees necessary to perform a query check or similar background. The municipality shall consider such request for approval following submittal to determine if the person proposed is of suitable character to act as an on-site manager. Such approval shall not be unreasonably denied, conditioned, or delayed. The approval process shall also apply to any change of on-site manager. I don't know. I mean, I don't.
How much do we want to be a watchdog on this place? I mean, how much
Well, that's what I feel. I mean, if,
How much time do we have to be the watchdog on this
Well,
place?
some of this stuff, a few years ago, we had a thing down at Pioneer Valley about when we first got, you know, the recreational marijuana passed. And a lot of what's described in here is state mandated. You know,
Okay.
like these query checks and.
so
you know,
they, it must, I'm assuming it's
That's
state
part of
mandated
the
that they do
employment
that.
check.
But this is asking if we, as the select board, want, or municipality, want any involvement in the hiring of their on-site manager. Approval. of
I
that.
don't think we want to get involved with that,
Okay.
No,
so
I
because
don't
they
think
know
we-
what the stand mandates are.
I don't think we want to be the marijuana police.
All right,
No.
so that sounds unanimous, Christopher. We don't need that one in there.
The next one, TJ answers the question you asked me.
Educational hours. So we want to look at how many hours the company is gonna use best efforts to provide staff to sponsor or participate in blank number of hours annually of local educational programs on public health and drug abuse prevention, and to work cooperatively with municipalities' public safety departments. So I mean, we could, that could push into Gateway
I think
certainly.
it should be a maximum of 24 hours per department. Most of the critical courses that we would get from the Mass Fire Academy are 24-hour courses.
Okay.
That gives them plenty of time to get it through our thick heads about what we gotta do.
So there's a separate one in here to provide the police department with training. There's two different trainings. for
There's
the
two
police.
different trainings.
Yeah,
So this is separate. This is an educational program on public health and drug abuse prevention. I was thinking, am I wrong in thinking that that is more like a school-based or like a health-based?
I think it's more health-based.
Yeah, so it might be something that more pushed into,
But I think we should ask them to incorporate in that. TJ asked me a question, do we know what kind of respiratory hazards we would meet if we have a fire down there?
oh, okay,
I think they should be asked to supply the fire department
With
with
some
that
training.
information
okay.
and whatever training is available for that, for those,
So that I think would go back, Christopher, where we had looked at on page 5, the police officer training. Maybe we can add something in there about fire department response training. Thank you.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll let Christopher take that note. How many
We have
hours?
OC.
Oh, I know, it was bothering me too. How many hours do you think we should ask for? So if it's like a public health or drug abuse, this is more like
I
looking
think
at
we should
either,
talk to the fire chief
Yeah,
about that.
yeah, for the number of hours.
I
okay,
don't wanna say 10 hours and he's gonna say, hell no, we need 20, you know?
yeah.
Let's let him.
Is it
answer
fire chief or is this more like an educational, like in the school?
No, for the
No, I think-
firefighters, it's the fire chief.
Yeah.
But
And
this
and
is
as
about-
far as the
No, you were
schools go, I
talking
think,
about incorporating with the,
Now, this
police
is something
department.
different. I'm talking about a public health and drug abuse prevention.
Well, if they've apparently done it before, I would let them tell us how many
Yeah.
hours.
Board of Health, if it's public health.
Yeah, that might be a Board of Health question.
Yeah,
So that one on the bottom of page 8, Christopher, that might be a Board of Health question to see if they have an idea as to how many hours we would be interested. I mean, any hours are helpful, but they might have a better idea.
now I'd like to go back to that training of the police officers.
Well, Christopher went back and added the note to add an additional training for fire.
All right, so he should talk with Chief Motor
Okay,
and find out how many hours the chief feels should be devoted to that.
okay.
Did we lose Chris?
No, he's there. He's taking notes on the document.
I'm here. Yeah.
He just muted himself.
You disappeared on me. If I
Yeah.
can't see you, you're not here.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. I did reach out to the police chief with the question, so now I'm on page 10. That I had asked Dave about the traffic mitigation, and she said that leave the wording in, but we don't know how traffic's gonna be affected yet. She has some concerns about larger trucks getting in and out of the driveway safely because of the speeds in the blind corner. So I would definitely make a note there, Christopher, that maybe we should reach out to DOT and ask them if there's any more requirements that they want to put on that blind curve. Because I know they did a study.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
gonna remind you that they did their own study through the DEP.
So there might even be some recommendations in that study. I don't know if there's like some mirrors or a light or, flashing light or something that they want us to, because we do want to be careful. I can see that being a
Well, I think,
scary spot to pull out.
I think, that's gonna, it's a state road, so that's gonna.
It's gonna
have
be up to them. Yeah,
Up to them,
okay.
all you need is one accident.
And
and that's
my
gonna be hell
experience
okay.
with the DOT is until there's an accident there, they're perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so my last question was on page 13. The attorney put in a note about the sunset provision, so meaning that the municipality, where is it here? There's like, this will expire, basically, we're putting in an expiration date. So in the event the company has not secured a final license from the CCC and all necessary local permits within 12 months, the date of execution of this agreement, it will expire. Do we want to put an
At our discretion.
at our discretion? Do we want to put an expiration date? I know that they're
Yes,
having
I
some
think we
issues.
do. We never dealt with these people. I'm sorry, Joanne.
That's all right. I just have something to say about that
Okay,
when you're done.
Well, we've never dealt with these people before. We don't know who they are, what they are. I think we should have an expiration date on there.
what's your thought, Joanne?
Remember that with that DG solar planning
Mhm.
ran into that problem, not a problem, but because there was an expiration date on it, DG had to come back in and explain why it took them so long.
Yeah,
So that we have done that in the past. That's all I have to say
Okay.
about that. don't
I know that
if
they've
everyone-
already run into, some speed bumps as far as getting it set up, so it has taken a lot longer than expected.
But they just renewed.
I guess my question is, if we put an expiration date, we have to revisit and do this again, which is fine, but do we want to? I mean, what is the negative impact on us?
I think the 12 months. At the end of 7 or 8 months, if they haven't got their stuff together, they should be able to say, well, we're not gonna make it.
Mhm.
And if they can't admit to that and they fail to meet their 12 months, then maybe they aren't worth doing business with anyway.
But we're not really out anything.
No,
doing
we're
business with-
not.
You know what I mean? So
No, but the
I almost
thing is,
feel like, what's
we're
the-
responsible in a sense to the people in town. And an expiration date, I think should be mandatory.
Yeah,
we're not out anything. I
No,
guess
we're
this is
not
where I
out.
get confused, like, and I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just trying to understand why. like, why would we benefit from an expiration date?
Well, we
Because we're
don't-
not, it's not costing us anything. There's no, we only benefit from the company being built. So the more lenient we can be and helpful to them to start it, we will then
I
benefit. from it.
just don't want to let dollar signs cloud our judgment, that's all. And again, we don't know these people.
Well, I mean, we have been
Never-
working with them for a few years, so we do kind of know
Well,
them.
yeah, but you haven't got down to the nitty gritty yet where it's gonna count. And if we give them an expiration date, it gives them something to work for.
Gives them incentive.
Maybe
Right.
ask planning. Planning was working with them and they were not pleased that it took them so long. Wanted to talk to them at the end. Why is this taking you so long? So planning was interested in all, is all I'm saying. So maybe just ask.
I mean,
planning if it's necessary.
I want to keep communication lines open and know what's going, their progress, but I don't know if I necessarily feel like, I mean, then let's extend it, I guess. Like, let's extend it to 24 months. I don't see the need to rush them in. Do you know
Well,
what I
they've been
mean?
at this long enough now so that if we vote on this tonight and they got 12 months to get their stuff together, I think they've had ample time.
But I think that there's just, I mean, there's so many, there's so many changes that have occurred, you know, in over just, I mean, the pandemic in the last
But
2
they're not
years.
our changes.
Yeah, but we're not losing out on anything.
No, but the thing is that as they move forward, all right, first it was supposed to be a growing place. Now there's
So
gonna
they've
be
adjusted.
distribution
And now
also.
they're
What's
changing the
next?
whole
Well,
situation.
so they've adjusted to make it work. We want them to make it work. We
Oh,
we
absolutely.
want to support that. I mean, I guess I keep getting stuck with, I see there's no negative for us in saying, okay, fine, 24 months, check back, you know, if you haven't made, you know, so much progress in 24 months and we think, but this is costing us nothing. There is nothing that Blandford is out by creating a host of, they're paying for this.
But then again, I don't want to see this ongoing all the time.
Me too.
You know,
Either
I
they're
want to
gonna
see,
or they're not.
I want to know that when they get to the end of the tunnel,
Well,
the lights are on.
they've clearly invested in it already.
Oh, they have, and all of it's a write-off.
Yeah, but they're, you know, I don't know. Then I
You
guess
and
my
I
point
aren't
would be,
benefiting from the write-off either.
No,
my point would be, then let's make it a 24-month, because I don't want to narrow them down.
Yeah,
Our compromise with the 18.
I'll go with the 18.
Okay. All right, so Christopher, we want to change that to 18 months, please. And then it is still up to our discretion, so we can choose to, at that point, if we have a discussion with them and decide that we don't want to cancel it, we can do
Now, here's the,
So
on
that's it
that
for my
same
question.
page,
that. Okay,
do you have what we were talking about earlier on the other page with the police?
so you're on page
They do have,
12.
municipality, fire department, company shall work with the fire department.
Oh, they do have
reviewing
that.
and approving emergency procedures,
that's a good
so
point.
that is in there.
So TJ is looking on page 12 under emergency contacts. It does clarify right there that that they're gonna work with the fire department to review and approve the emergency procedures and disaster plans. So that's good. So that might cover what I guess I would just check
It
with
doesn't say
Chief Mater and see if he
training,
wants
though.
anything
That's
else.
the only thing.
Well,
Yeah,
I
the
think the
training.
chief, I think is gonna give the chief
A starting point.
a pretty broad band of authority there so that he could say, all right, what do my people need
Okay,
in
Mhm.
order to be cognizant with this company?
Right,
And if they hedge on it, he could call a fire marshal and they'll get a rude awakening.
mhm.
Simple as that.
so Christopher, do you have what you need from us to go back to town council and whoever else you need to check with and make any changes, and then we'll take a look at another copy next week.
Yeah, I think I've got it here and I'll just check with Joanne since I believe she's taken minutes and make sure we captured everything. But yeah, I think we should be all set.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you, guys. So next up, we have ARPA funds. Are we spending money tonight? Do we have?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Uh-oh, this sounds serious. All
Yeah, it is.
right, what do you got?
Well, I've been contacted by Hilltown to ask for approximately $1,500 in ARPA funds.
Did they submit a request?
Hmm?
Did they submit a request?
I'm asking, and I can get you a formal request, but there's been electrical work done by Electric to bring the building up there into OSHA compliance, which it's right now is way out of line.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bill coming in for $9,000.
Okay.
Now, they approached Montgomery, and from what I read today in an email, surprisingly, they're for it.
So-
They're willing to commit.
They're dividing it amongst all of us.
Right.
So 1,500 they're looking for,
Right.
1,500, okay. Yeah, if we can get a request, we can put it on the
I will
agenda.
call
for
tomorrow and ask them to get a formal request up there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You can get it to me, I'll bring it to the meeting next week.
All right, I'll have
Get
them
it to me
send
as
it.
well, I should say, and I'll make sure everybody's.
I'll have them either email it to me and I'll bring it right to you or whatever.
We have about 30,000 left to spend if my worksheet
Of
is
the
up. to-
segment.
I'm gonna share this, Christopher, so you, oh, will you allow me to share? Let me share. I think it's up to date.
See if you can share now.
There we go. Okay, so this is what I have for our spreadsheet so far. So right down here, funding remaining is about 30,000, 29,000.
Yeah, because we've got $1,500 in there, but I will get a formal request for you.
Okay. I feel like someone else mentioned something to me this week about ARPA too. I don't remember who it was. They thought that they had submitted something and
Oh, I asked you about the COA put one in, and when they brought the copy in.
Oh, did you find it?
No, I didn't look.
okay, that should be in here.
Thursday, Thursday.
I had gotten an email from Russ.
And if you have a copy of that, may I have it so I can copy it for them, because they did not keep a copy.
Yes.
I forwarded them.
I had gotten an email from Russ asking about signage, I think for the Blandford Animal Hospital. So I was just trying to go back with him and see if he,
Well,
He had
we
actually-
voted that, didn't we?
no, we haven't voted anything for the animal hospital.
Not yet.
No. All right, what did we just vote?
So we've approved drainage for Hayden Road. We approved the GAC filter for water. We approved recovery for Blandford Store, broadband infrastructure, town website, lost revenue for the fairgrounds, and the country club, lost revenue.
Okay, the country club was what took away our generator.
Well, we can still do the generator. We just have, I think, so in light of that, I was thinking today, actually, my husband was talking today about what's going on across the ocean. And we should probably just think about, and I said to him, well, we have plans, we have emergency plans in place. And then I thought we should probably just revisit and maybe look again at making sure that this building is an emergency. You know, what else do we have to do to make this building, you know, an emergency shelter? I know we've talked about it for a long time, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or a pessimist, because that's not me at all,
I think
but
the biggest thing is to be able to have heat and
yeah.
to make.
Well, we also need cots and
kitchen.
blankets and waters. There's things that we
We
need
can
to
get
talk about.
that for you, I believe.
We have a zillion blankets.
Hmm?
There's a zillion blanket, not that many, up on the stage.
Yeah, there's quite a bunch of them. And I think through emergency management, Dave can get you more.
So Christopher, we've talked in the past week, we had a grant and we met, I'm not finding it here, Joanne. Do you want to look through it? We had a,
Yeah, I'm always booked.
we had a grant before, some grant funding years ago, and we met with someone that helped us with emergency planning project. So they drafted up our, a plan for us, and I believe we had connected with Westfield University, which would meant we were going down the mountain,
Yeah.
right? So we had done some work on that before, and the discussion, there had been a lot of discussion around getting this building certified as a emergency
Shelter.
management shelter. So we haven't really pursued that much recently. Tom was just talking about using some of the ARPA funds. I think it was $40,000 for the
50 now.
50 for the generator
I
for town
can't
hall.
guarantee that price for more than a month.
So that might be a project just to kind of, keep your mind open to. I think one of the other big things we need to add was showers in the building. I think that was a requirement for an emergency shelter. I don't know if you guys remember that. But just kind of thoughts on what, what do we have to do in town hall to get us there?
I'll talk with Dave about it tomorrow. He's pretty up on
Okay.
what
There's-
an emergency shelter.
We can also have a
consistent-
conversation with, I think Josh was with us when we started it was a long time ago. But there's definitely a plan in the works somewhere that we should probably look at and revise. I don't know if it's time for revisions to be made. But we should probably take a look at that and see. It'll probably list out what we would need to do here at town hall.
But
Right.
again,
So
Yeah, I remember seeing something about it in the master plan, and I'll poke around at these folders and just see if I can find that emergency plan and what we need to do for it. So yeah, I'll take a look.
Thank you. Do you remember that, Mary? Someone came and she did a PowerPoint presentation for us. It was way back. Adam was here. No, there was like a committee created and we had, did you find it?
No, not yet. I'm still working through it.
Okay. What's
I
next?
went through one of those years ago when I was emergency management director.
Was that when it was?
No.
Louis,
I
that's
don't
another
believe So because you weren't on the board when I was fire chief.
I think I was, no, you weren't fire chief, but I think I was the secretary at the time. I don't think I was on the select board. So we're
Oh,
talking
no.
like
No.
maybe
I think
10
you were in
years
high
ago.
school.
I was in high school. That was a little more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice
they
try.
don't want to make us all that much older.
1997. We're talking way back.
I know.
Okay, so next up, we have unfinished business. So we have an administrator report, Christopher. You're up.
Yeah, let me just pull up my notes real quick. So the first thing to mention is, of course, we've started having our budget meetings with the finance committee. So this past week, we spoke with Cemetery Commission, Council on Aging, and Animal Control. I would say those are sort of the easy ones. We've got some more interesting requests coming up this week. We're going to be speaking with, we'll meet with Kathy from Chester and talk about Gateway, the police budget, and a couple other matters as well. And Joanne and I will keep coordinating to make sure we get everyone scheduled in. And I know we're in kind of a condensed timeline here, so obviously we're trying to get things done before the end of March. So we will keep chipping away at those.
Okay.
And relatedly, I did schedule a time to meet with Josh. So he's tied up with St. Patrick's Day stuff this whole week, but next week I'll be stopping in Holyoke on my way in, and I'll speak with him and get some of his thoughts on the budget. So that'll be good. Other things going on. So I think you saw an email from Sarah Hunter about special town meeting. So she had just a few items that she was interested in, putting on the warrant for that.
Okay.
Spoke with the town clerk's office. It sounds like we weren't really anticipating having to do a special town meeting. So I'm just checking with Sarah to see, hey, can we wait until annual town meeting and get some of this stuff done at that time, or is this really pressing and we need to get it done before June? So I should be meeting with Sarah this week So I'll get hopefully a firm answer about that.
Okay, are there any outstanding bills that we have to pay that would be on the special town meeting? Joanne's saying,
They talked about that a little bit, but it kind of seems minor to
Okay.
have a huge town meeting.
For just a couple bucks?
For just some bills. So
Okay.
I'm just gonna, if WB Mason comes to me, I'll just push them back and
Okay.
say, we're working on it.
okay,
So that's what we came down to.
all right. So that
Yeah.
sounds like it might work to hold it off then.
Yeah, and I'll check with Sarah because there's one item about funds we appropriated for broadband that we need to tweak the amount by like $1. So we hit a $500,000 threshold and we don't want to do that. So that's the only thing that I don't know might be time sensitive. So I'll check with her on that.
Okay,
Let's see, other things, community development block grants. PVPC just reached out. So it sounds like it's been in the works for a while. A ADA transition plan. So essentially this would be $20,000 through PVPC to hire a consultant to look at all the different town properties and identify where they're potentially deficient in terms of meeting the Americans with Disabilities Act
okay,
requirements. So it looks like they just sent over a copy of their draft RFP for those services. I can take a look at it this week. If you want, I can bring it to the select board meeting next week and we can discuss it. I'll do
Okay.
that.
I know our library is gonna fail, but are they gonna help us build a new one? Maybe that'll help us with funding, I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, fun stuff, or I guess what you would call fun stuff. Complete streets. So one of the items in the master plan is to get a designation as a complete streets community. As a reminder, so that's the concept that our streets are designed for all users. They're safe, convenient, comfortable for people walking, biking, people with mobility impediments. So I went ahead and just created the portal for the town with MassDOT to do that, and then also took a training last week. So now I'm the certified employee for the town. The next steps would be exploring passing a bylaw on this,
Okay.
and then creating a prioritization plan that would identify all the projects that we'd want to fund through this. I've talked to Dave about this. He's pointed out that a lot of those projects would be on Route 23, which is state owned. So they wouldn't be eligible for funding. And of course, complete streets, it's usually more about big cities and places with lots of traffic. But it was something that was identified, I think, in that walk audit, and the master plan is something we want to take a look at. So I'll keep, it's not super time sensitive, but so in the background, I'll be kind of looking at different bylaws that other towns and communities have passed. And then maybe I can bring it up at one of these meetings and we can talk through what are some of the good options for looking
Okay.
at a bylaw and if we actually want to pursue it as a community.
Great, sounds good, thank you, congratulations
Thanks.
on your new title.
Yeah.
Christopher, didn't you do the fire department on Wednesday too? They were before me, I think, as far as the cemetery.
Yes, they were. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, so we got to speak with Chief Motter and I guess we'll go through with the finance committee all the kind of different outcomes of those conversations at a later point. But yes, thank you for reminding me. He was on our list. And I got to stop by his, I don't know if I would call it a meeting, but it was a gathering. In the building next to the post office there, so that was good as well. And I don't think I have anything else. Any items you can think of that you wanted to ask me about?
I was gonna have you put on your list. I think we talked about it before you were here. The police department. We had talked about this. Interrupt me if you already know what I'm talking about. The safe for the town clerk documents is in the police department. We're looking at either an alternate location for the police department or some safes for town clerk to put in their office. And so Tammy did reach out to me and asked me if we had come up, so Chief Tammy, if we had come up with a solution. I said we hadn't, that I would bring it up again. So we have to look at, Mary had some other costs, some other prices for safes. The safe that's in the police department is not functioning right now, so it doesn't really make sense to store documents. It's open, it doesn't lock. It's so, you know, it's not really,
It does lock, it just takes a huge effort. to get
Yeah.
it closed.
so it's not accessible
Did
anyways.
Doris find out if somebody could repair it? She was gonna look into
Oh,
it.
she was, I don't know.
Doris was
So-
gonna look into repair.
Okay, so Doris had someone, I think she had someone come in looking at repair, because Tammy did mention that. So Christopher, I would just touch base with Chief Tammy and see what her, you know, what she would like to have happen next. If she said that she would rather that she would be okay with moving, she just can't have people in and out of the office, you know, looking at files because the police department. However, we both agreed that it would be unfortunate to have the police department move out of the lobby because it's really an ideal location. So I'm gonna pass that on to you.
Okay.
Not it. But feel free to let me know if you have questions.
Thanks.
I'm also gonna forward you an email about having you sign up. We have some mandated sensitivity training, so I'll email that to you, so you can do that. And then I wanted to ask you about, were you up to date on the situation with Hilltown Ambulance that occurred? a few-
Yeah. So you shared kind of the latest, and I checked out a recording of the Zoom meeting with them. It did. I'm forgetting her name. Is it Angela?
Yep.
Is she still with them, or did she end up?
She is
okay.
still with them.
Okay.
So the other select boards in the Hilltowns did want to meet jointly and discuss this. I haven't heard anything back from them, but the idea was that we were setting up a 6 Hilltown meeting. So I don't know if you just want to reach out to Kathy at Chester and see if she's heard anything. Or if she has everyone's contact, if she can help to start.
Yeah,
you know.
sure. I'm going to be speaking with her and Tammy on Wednesday. So I'll bring it up with her, and we'll see if we can actually get all the towns together on this.
So Hilltown Ambulance did sort of, and just so you know, Tom is on the board, just FYI, he's on the Hilltown Ambulance Board. They did kind of back down and say, you know, forget the increase for right now. We're just gonna move forward. But I still think it's worth a conversation with all of the boards. I think it might be a healthy choice to look at an RFP. Just so that we know that we're getting, you know, the best care that we can get. Not that I want to support Hilltown Ambulance. I don't not want to support them. I just think it would be due diligence to take a good look.
So in that meeting, it sounded like they had two different options. And one was that increase, and then another was, well, we'll delay the increase, but there will be additional reporting requirements. Are they just not even doing any of that, or is it?
And then the care is this below the 66% with the
Yeah,
paramedic. Is that
what
right?
they've come up with is to go with 2.5%, I believe. But we would lose this guaranteed 66% paramedic coverage, which I've got mixed feelings on that. Yeah, it's a good feeling when they come on to know that they're coming as a medic ambulance, but it's also a good feeling when we know they're responding. And because of the nature of the call, so is Westfield with the paramedics. So whatever we do, I think we're always gonna have to have a backup with Westfield
No, yeah,
as far as paramedics.
absolutely.
So I really don't see any big reason to make a change at this point. I know the coverage has improved in the past few weeks. The calls that were going on, they missed one. And that's a lot better than it has been.
Okay, so yeah, we can definitely, you know, have that. I think it's time that all the hill towns that are on the regional contract for Hilltown meet and talk about it anyways. I think it would be valuable discussion. So that was on my list. And the finance committee meeting with Chester, we scheduled that, I think,
It's Thursday.
Thursday. I was thinking, did anyone invite Chief Tammy? Because she should,
Yes, the meeting is gonna start at 1 o'clock.
okay,
The town of Chester to do their budget talks, and then Chief Tammy is gonna show up at 2 o'clock to do the police part of it.
okay, and Blandford's a part of that.
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be here, yes.
Perfect. I just wanted to make sure Tammy was
So
involved because it just made sense. Okay.
when is this?
Thursday, this Thursday.
Thursday at 1 o'clock. Is it
1 o'clock.
here or in Chester?
Yes,
Here.
All right, that's the first I heard of it.
So our
It's a finance meeting, Tom, that's why.
All right, so there's no reason for me to be here.
you don't have to if you don't want to sit through fun meeting about numbers, but you're welcome to come. Finance and so both finance teams, Chester reached out and said, do you think it would be a good idea to have our both finance departments meet to talk about the Chester Police Department,
Yeah, Blandford.
the increase? Yeah, Blandford, Chester. And we said, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Why didn't we think of that? So we're gonna do that. And then I talked to Tammy at the I was gonna say couscous caucus last week. And I know, and I brought it up to her and she didn't know about it. I was like, oh God, I hope Tammy's invited because that would be important.
That wouldn't be a very good thing to not invite her if you're gonna.
But
just-
she is invited, so that was my mistake. That was my mistake. So,
Yeah, she's in there.
all right.
Don't give me fodder like that, please. Or bite my tongue out.
Listen. So do you guys have anything else for Christopher? Is that,
No,
No,
we're good? All right.
And I will just mention one last thing. So Josh had these regular e-blasts that he was sending out. So I'm gonna kind of restart those. And if there's anything, you know, anything you want me to add or be promoting in those, please let me know. I'm planning on just sending them out once a month.
Okay.
And just having it be kind of a what's going on at town hall. So, yeah.
Perfect. Joanne might have something to add to that from PVPC, the thing that guy sent you that he wanted on social media about
Yes.
we could put that on the blast there.
I thought we already had information about that on our.
We
website.
did, but apparently there must be more grants available if he's promoting it again, so.
This is the housing rehabilitation one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll add that.
Okay, what's next? We have, do we have any other unfinished business? We have a contract to review, but is that in, executive session? Do we go over, Christopher, do we go over your contract in executive session? I'm trying to remember. Contract negotiations, right?
Public knowledge, isn't it? Doesn't talk about your social security.
I would think so.
Christopher, what do you think? What's your vote?
I mean, I would love for it to be an executive session, but I'm not sure if,
I have something listed over here. Hold on, let me look.
what time do we have to
10
be at
purposes for
the
executive
parade
session.
site
I
Sunday?
don't know, I'm not going.
Oh, you're not going?
To conduct strategy sessions in
I'm gonna
preparation
be
for
back here in
negotiations
case something
with
happens.
non-union personnel or conduct
There's
collective
the fire
bargaining or
department's
contract
going.
negotiations with
Oh,
non-union.
okay.
Some of us are gonna stay here.
All right.
All right, so
So if I
yes,
get tired, I can
Christopher,
take your
that's
place in the
executive
truck.
session.
Huh?
I said, if I get tired, I can take your place in the truck.
Right.
I love.
Oh, do we have a truck in the parade this weekend? Do you know? I reached
As
out
far
to
as
Chief.
I know, but you'll have to talk with the chief about that.
I reached out to Chief Motter and he was gonna look for drivers. Do you
Well, I
know?
imagine Matt will take the truck like he did last year.
Okay. We don't have a police vehicle. So we're gonna be a small, I'm hoping we have a fire vehicle because otherwise it's just like us.
There'll be a place where.
What time?
That's a great question.
Oh, I thought you had the
I
answer.
don't have an answer for you. I have to look on the website. I think they posted the times. Oh, they posted the times today. It said the 14th. So we can look on the website now and they'll have assigned us a time
Okay.
and we'll meet
But
in that plaza there.
I'm not going, I'm gonna be back here.
Okay, man in the fort.
Probably Adam and myself.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. that makes sense. Okay. So we're gonna be a really small little, maybe my mom will bring Betty and we thought we'd get her a green tutu. And that would be like the big hurrah. Not my mom,
Oh,
Betty, the golden retriever. Yeah, she'll, yes. We'll put her on a leash
Okay,
for once.
she's very munches.
I know,
you get to carry the dog bag.
but no, that's my mother. Okay, so the, Joanne, you want to talk about the computer before we go into executive?
Oh, I sent those numbers to Christopher as well. Steve Barlow, Novus, has been working with Ally. She's very knowledgeable about computers and what she needs for the department. So he's got the specs all down. I asked him to go ahead and get the quote so I can bring it to you guys. I talked to Steve Gemolo and that is what we came up with.
Okay.
He doesn't have very much. I haven't spent a lot on a couple of our line items.
Okay.
So he agreed to split it. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah,
That's what we took. He has a miscellaneous expense item for things like this, so we wiped that one out.
Okay.
And we only took 100 from the other one, and you see that I have
you had,
plenty. I just bought paper, so I don't need that. So
Okay.
I'm in pretty good shape in those papers.
yeah, that looks fine to me. Do you need a vote from us to purchase it or?
No, because I asked.
You'll just bring
I'll
the-
bring the quote to you,
Okay.
and you can sign the quote.
Did, he mentioned you possibly needing a new
Yeah.
computer?
He's calling mine Frankenstein. He gave me a tower from one and a transferred.
Bye.
I don't
Good night,
understand.
Bob.
Bye, Bob.
So, do you need to,
It's
do we need
working-
to fund a
it's
new
working
computer?
right now, so, what.
Until it's
we came
not.
down to was talking to, finance, we talked to you about it too, a little bit, about purchasing, putting something in the budget to purchase computers every year.
Yeah, like,
So right
yeah,
now, it's a little.
it's on a
bit
rotation.
Novus sent a list of our computers and a lot of them are very old,
okay,
so maybe 2 a year. For a year or two. I
Okay.
think after that, you could go down to 1 a year. And maybe that can, I don't know, that's up to Kristen.
but do you think that you're gonna need one within the next like 4 months, 4 or 5 months?
I don't think so. He's got me working.
All right,
And actually, the Frankenstein works faster than my old one did.
oh, well,
And
that's
my
good.
old one was causing the problems with the door and with the alarm, so we got the.
Oh,
door
so now
fixed.
that's
They
fine.
came in
Okay.
last week, and the alarm people are coming in next week.
Okay. So we don't actually have oh my God, department expense report.
No, we don't have a new one.
I know, Tom,
I should have taken it
It's
off.
rough.
You don't wanna go, you don't wanna try that again.
it's
anyway.
rough. Okay, so then I think that we're good to go into executive session. You guys don't have anything else unfinished
No, I make a motion, we adjourn to
to
the executive session,
not to reconvene?
not to reconvene.
Got it.
Second,
Okay. you're
All in
gonna have to
favor?
Write this out for me.
Aye. Roll call vote. Kara says yes.
Uh-huh,
TJ says yes.
yes.
All right. Oh, so what we'll do, Christopher, because you're via Zoom, I don't know who John Kelly, is. We have someone else here. John, do you have anything you wanted to add before we head out?
No, not really. I just want to probably be on the agenda next week for the flooding of Gibbs Road.
Okay,
Near my property, an unrepaired 12-inch culvert. And we'll see you probably next week there.
okay. Will you do me a favor and email, email J Martin at townofblandford.com and she'll get that on the agenda for you?
That would be perfect.
Thank you, John.
We have pictures and all sorts of stuff. So
Okay.
you guys take care. Bye now.
Thank you, you too. And Christopher, he's talking about the same area that we're having issues with Springfield water.
Yeah, okay.
So that will become a bigger conversation.
One of the many.
Yeah, one of the many. Okay, so what we'll do, Christopher, I think is we'll just stop recording